Bubble diagrams, an important tool in a designer's arsenal. In this video, I will be taking you into a class that is learning about it. The tutor breaks down the process in the most simple and basic way. It is my hope that you find this class entertaining and useful to you. Let me know your views down in the comments.
When we talk of now concepts, yeah, you have an idea. You've borrowed from it to get the form. Now we want to see how we can carve out spaces based on the relationship that they share with each other and as a whole. So that's where now functional relationships come in. Okay, so the first thing you do is you have to have your sites. So if for instance, this was our site because we had the road leading up to, what is this, leading up to the first hill or the second hill, then we apportioned some of the sites along here. Yeah. So when it comes to now functional relationship diagrams, the first thing you're supposed to do, so the site sort of takes a regular trajectory with a bit of irregularity. So the first thing you do is that you ought to first list down what are these spaces you're dealing with. Yeah. So for instance, if this is your road and this is your access, you may point out probably that where the main access is from the site. So once you do that, the next is to understand what spaces are we dealing with. From the brief, what spaces did we have?
There was living room.
So we have probably a lounge. What else?
There was the kitchen. There was the living room, the kitchen, the dining room.
So probably we may have dining. We may have kitchen. Okay.
Then there was also the office or studio. And then there was also a gallery. And then there was also the children's rooms and the kids' rooms and an outdoor recreational area.
Maybe we may talk of this as the recreational area, and we may have maybe the kids' room. Yeah? So the first step you do, it's quite simple, but it also requires a bit of rationale to it. If you already established that this is your main access point at that area there, then maybe your first question is, what do you want the space to be? Yeah? Which spaces, if you are to follow, say, something we call a privacy gradient, yeah, which spaces are more public, which spaces are more private. Yeah, so you find, for instance, the lounge could be a public space. The gallery, depending on how you want to put it, may also fall in a public or semi-public space. We may have the dining, the kitchen, the study. Was there a study or a show? A studio, sorry.
Studio.
The office. Yeah. So based on this, now it's up to you to come up with various or different relationship diagrams. Yeah, you may even decide to come up with a legend where you say, for instance, if between two spaces I'm using a line that's like that, that would mean maybe it's a strong relationship. If between the two spaces my line is sort of thicker, maybe that's an, let's see the type of lines I can come up with. No, it's not working. You can also use a color code to grade, yeah, to differentiate. This one is a bit lighter, so you may decide to differentiate. You're going to use, let me see, a good color. So you can even use, I don't know why it's giving me this. Okay, so based on this, you may talk of this being a weak relationship. A weak, this could be a mid, or it's just average, or this could be strong. Once you have the spaces that you need, yeah, you just use the different sizes of circles, okay, or bubbles, yeah, to come up with the various spaces that you need to cater for, okay? Then the next step is you develop a legend, which shows the different levels of relationship that 2 or 3 spaces may have. It may be a weak relationship, a strong relationship, or a mid or average relationship, yeah? So now based on that legend, you've already established that's your legend, okay? So based on this legend, and you already have these spaces, and you have your main entry point being this area here, So the next question would be, what relationship exists, for instance, between the lounge and the dining? Is it a weak? Is it strong? Is it average?
I'd say that it's a strong relationship.
Okay, so if it's strong, then using your pen, you just come and give us this. So now the outline design was to take these sort of conceptual sketches, yeah, and try to attempt them into, or rather try to attempt to make them to more architectural communication. All right. And I have to note, yeah, you have to always remember to. So now what happens is we want to take what we did in this previous slide and try and come up with a regular shape. We was to use that term, yeah. So probably you want to use black. You want to introduce maybe a street a site boundary, yeah, with an entrance point. Establish this is your point of entry, so you have whatever form of gate you have, yeah, entrance or whatever, design it as well. So probably based on now this sketch I did here for the bubble diagram, let's see if I can copy it. Anyway, I'll just try and draw it from memory. So based on this, you may have now to come and sort of develop a regular shape. So you may start talking of having your entry point, and let me see what I did, a lounge. So that's my entry point, that's my lounge, that's my dining, that's my kitchen. So this is not really accurate. I'm just trying to come up with how to develop, yeah. So you may now start to form regular patterns, yeah, and you may combine different shapes. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is, you use this already established bubble diagram and try and come up with regular shapes, yeah. Yes, I think back. So you try and establish where your openings are, where you probably have windows, yeah. You may choose to have different shapes coming together. So you're doing away with these bubbles, yeah, and giving definitive function. And also we start seeing wall thicknesses, we start seeing openings. You may have openings there. Yeah, with lens there, I don't want to create a dead space. So the main aim of this exercise 1 is to establish building components, yeah. What I mean, we start seeing openings in terms of windows and doors. We start seeing stairwells and ramps. We start seeing some finishes to denote what's inside, what's outside. So if I was doing this design, I'd cut it there, introduce that there, then use this space to sort of create some outdoor facility there. Okay. So this is your outdoor space there. Then link it directly to what we have here. We had that doing that. So the main aim is now to do away with these circles, yeah, to do away with the bubbles and to create functional space. We also to use that word, functional space. All right. So where was my pen? Black. So you may then define it as that. Have it done that. So have this as an entrance. The entrance you may create sort of a glass wall there, or use a shelf. Have this as a living room, where the window opens there to see more of the sides, or even you can have this as a wall, put your TV there, the window opens there, have a lounge, a sectional lounge that does that. Okay, create a small dining room nook here, link it to a kitchen, so we may have a kitchen around there. Give the kitchen the function that makes it a kitchen with this. Or you see, I'm trying to have the openings on this side, trying to put the openings on this side so that they take in the view of the basin below. Yeah. So on this side where we had the office, you may now even project it at this point here. Then you make this into a studio. Then you step it down here and make this into an office. Yeah. Then you may have the kitchen space here. You can even have this as the dining, sorry. Then you push the kitchen to this edge. Then the dining. Yeah, the lounge can be the circular space. This can be the dining. Then it leads to an outdoor area here. That it can even become a boardwalk to take in the views. Okay, so all this is open to the views outside. And that's how you design, guys. Okay, so the next step after the outline design, the scheme design. Okay, so now in scheme design, you find that this is now where we want scaled drawings. You're gonna get a scaled drawing, okay, with wall thicknesses, with openings defined, material shown, construction tech as well. Right, so this is more definitive. It even has the furniture layouts, it has the sanitary fittings. You can go a step further and also give us finishes. Okay, so that's what we anticipate in scheme design. So in scheme design, what we want to see is, if for instance I'm trying to give this more architectural communication, architectural graphics. So in scheme design, we want to see if this is your, again, always on site, yeah, so that you don't forget where it is you're designing for. Okay, so still on site, this is now where I want you to give me definitive, if that's the entry point, if you're using concrete columns, if you're using masonry block at some point, if you have just RC. Oh gosh, my stylus is not giving me. All right, if it's door openings, what type of doors do you have? Are they hung? Are you using sliding doors? Are they sliding in against each other or sliding into a cavity in the wall? Okay, so those are the details I want to see, all right, in the scheme design.
Thank you for watching. It is my hope that this lesson has been beneficial to you. If you are new, do consider subscribing to the channel